Today it's time for a best of 7 series of top level StarCraft 2. This particular match is from the PiG Sty tournament, where in the bottom left, playing in red, we're looking inside of the main base of Hero, the #1 Protoss on the planet, and certainly the most entertaining Protoss to watch. His opponent, or maybe I should say victim, in this particular series, we have none other than Solar. Now this is a... This is an elimination match from the playoffs of the PiG Sty. So what we do is play Ring Around the Rosie with the probe in the middle of the map. And then we start planting down gateways. How many do we go for? I would say 2. You can go for 3. You can even go for 4. No. Really? I think 2 is the most reasonable thing to do. Okay, I love watching Hero games. There's no way. Now, I was going to bring up that this is a series that was recommended to me many times. And with Hero games, you never really know what you're going to get. Some days he likes to play the most stock standard StarCraft ever, and he usually wins. And then other days, he plays like an absolute clown, and he still usually wins. This man has won more StarCraft 2 prize money in 2026 so far than anybody else. So even though I like to criticize his walling skills, I like to poke and, you know, maybe poke and make a little bit of fun from time to time, but you cannot argue with the results. Hero has been incredibly entertaining and incredibly successful, and apparently we're gonna try and continue down that road with this particular match as well. Now this is a best of 7 against a world-class Zerg, but it's a 3-player map. So Solar is scouting towards the bottom. He's gonna assume, okay, this is not where the Protoss spawned. He will now think this is where Protoss will be spawned instead, and that means, of course, that we are not going to be checking for anything in the middle of the map, meaning that this triple proxy gate is likely going to deal a ridiculous amount of damage. No, Ovi's not going to see it. Ovi is not going to see it at all. All right, Hero immediately sets the tone. Solar's making drones, by the way. He has no idea. The Zerglings are being drawn to the wrong spot. Oh, just to rub a little bit of salt in the wound. Now we finally commit. Now we are on a timer. Zerglings are gonna get link speed. You really do try to maximize the damage right about right now. This, like, walking around is really good for Solar. Like, Solar would love these Zealots to walk around for another minute or 2. Yeah, and so far, the micro is nice from Solar. The only problem is that he still does not have a reliable answer against these Zealots at all. And Zealots, of course, are really strong at this stage in the game. Their shields will regenerate, so bruising them a little bit doesn't do anything. Zerglings are gonna get absolutely torn apart. Solar right now backs up to the safety of the Spinecrawler, and the Spinecrawler will pop out. I love the positioning of it, but he's immediately gonna have to put it somewhere else. When it is uprooted, though, it means that the Zealots can go in. Solar awkwardly trying to put it back into a reasonable spot. Do we commit? Is this when we decide to fight it? Okay. Well, Solar wanted to pull the trigger. He hold positions right there on the workers. A little bit of mineral micro as well, trying to squeeze them in between. A little bit of drone drilling. Ultimately, you know what? That was about the perfect defense, I think, for Solar. Considering he had no idea that this was coming. That was really clean. Only 5 drones? By the way, we have now upgraded from Zealots to Adepts. We also have some Lings inside of the main base on the other side. Oh, Solar is actually... he's a bit of a gamer. Beautiful game by Solar. Solar looked at it once, he looked at it twice, came up with the perfect solution, and then executed. Not a lot of players can pull that sort of thing off. All right, Hero. What do we do next? Oh, of course. This already is weird. Now, I don't want to look into the very first structure that Protoss built all too much, but this is not what we usually do in Protoss versus Zerg. Normal positioning for the pylon is right over here. Or if you are Hero, right over here. Or if you're SOS, right over here. Oh, remember that SOS game on Old Republic? Oh, man, he played a game against Raynor recently that, like, physically hurt me. I guess you can sort out the walling issue by not walling at all. SOS built a wall so bad, it was right over here, man. This is where it happened. This is the crime scene right over here. Except it was a Protoss player that spawned over here. SOS needed 3 pylons to wall off his natural. I've never seen something as gross in my life. What, we go straight Nexus? Dude, he just went for straight Nexus on the low ground. Normal timing for the Nexus is 20 supply after a Cybercore. Hero is building that at like 17 and this at 18. Okay. Double gas on the back of it? Sure. Imagine, right? Imagine if Solar did any form of early pooling. This is Solar going hatch gas pool, and in Hero's defense, Solar always goes hatch gas pool. Look at this, man. He always goes hatch gas pool, so Hero can get away with this. But imagine a 12 pool, a 13 pool, 14, 15 pool even. This would all be an absolute disaster. But this is Hero in a nutshell. Because the thing is, when you do ultimately end up going for a 12 pool to try and hard counter this sort of thing, you will always randomize into a game where he is going for the normal wall off on the low ground, and you're just super far behind as the Zerg. So, Solar's only option now when he sees this, yeah, is to try and out-greed a very greedy player. Hero's already gotten away with it. So, we go immediately into a third. He did pull out of gas right away. He did mine enough, though, to start up the metabolic boost research. And now it does become a little bit of a guessing game, because all the timings here that Protoss usually will go for are going to be out of whack. Say, for example, an Oracle follow-up, right? Zergs will usually go for an Oracle counter. There's 2 openings. Okay. Sorry, I'm not going to look at... The more I look at these games, man, it's okay. I'm gonna try and not address it, but this is really hard for me. What was I saying? Oh yeah, an Oracle follow-up, not happening this game, and now Solar knows it too. But normally Zergs would blindly start up Spore Crawlers at like 3:35 or so to counter that thing coming in at about the 4-minute mark. Now we go. Oh, now we go double Stargate. Alrighty then. Next scout timing for Zerg is with Metabolic Boost. Metabolic Boost is going to be done very soon, so we should make a wall, and we did make a wall. Yeah. You know what? This one at the very least is aesthetically pleasing, so we can work with it. I'm still a little hesitant about this little corner, but I think it's fine. Okay, so what are we gonna build from here? We could go Tempest. We could also go Phoenixes. Honestly, is this Phoenixes? I don't think he can go Tempest. It's not really something he can afford. Now, he's also supply blocked for just about 5 seconds here as we wait for that new pylon to finish up. So, seeing whatever he's going to go for is going to have to wait a moment. Oracle! No way. Moracle? Okay, I think now we wait and we save until we have Foracle, no? Okay, I'm done. This cast is gonna get out of whack, I can already tell. We're only in game 2 in a best of 7. Strap yourself in, boys. This is gonna get worse. Alright, third Nexus starts up. This is a terrible timing for a fourth Nexus, or third Nexus rather, because it just... Ooh. It's a little too late. You need a little bit of HP for these Zerglings to counter it, right? Like, you need a little bit of... Ooh, a little bit of beef on the structure itself. Normal timing is 3:45. Hero here started up at like 4:10. Decides to start it up again while leaving it completely undefended. Zergling does... Oh no, Overlord Scout rather does go in. We went double Stargate, but only built 1 Oracle each. If you're Solar right now, what in the world do you make of this? I always wonder, right, with these hero games, like how much of this is pre-planned and how much of it is just him looking at the game and thinking, Stargates, Pylon. Like, how much of it is actually intentional? Fleet Beacon. I think we're going Tempest. I think, like, it gives off this very relaxed vibe, right? Where it kind of looks like he's just winging it and he's just sort of playing some StarCraft and but I don't think it is. It's giving a very similar vibe as when, like, Stefano was winning all those StarCraft 2 tournaments like a decade back. Stefano would always say that he wasn't practicing, but he definitely was practicing. There's no way that he wasn't practicing with the way that he was playing. I think it's the same thing here for Hero. Or maybe this is copium on my end and a little bit of self-defense. That I would like to believe that you can only ever play something like this with copious amounts of practice. I don't know. Straight carrier. The man just starts up a carrier. Cannot even afford the second one. Actually, you can now. He's busy though, microing over here. Does fire up the second carrier at this point in time. One of the queens. Oh, it's not gonna get the final shot. The adepts actually are still... Oh, hey, where are we going? We should not... Okay, sure. We should probably not go this way, but I guess he wants to buy time for now the carriers to come out. He keeps sending them forward. Like, it's a backward shade while walking in the direction we came from. It's like an adept moonwalk over here. It's just a very long moonwalk, I suppose. Couple of splitties. Only 2 of them are left behind. And you know what? If these roaches and lings went straight for the counter, if they would have cleaned up these adepts on the first shade, then the carriers would not be out to defend the third nexus. But now the carrier is going to be available. Hero's going to try and save them up inside of the main base. And this right here, if you've never seen Hero play, is 100% Hero in a nutshell. Oh. I would love to see Hero actually play some Terran. I wonder what he could do with Terran. Like, it's so fun because we really oftentimes think that StarCraft 2 is this, like, a very sophisticated game. Where we all know exactly how it needs to be done, and we all know how everything needs to be played, and yada yada yada. But I think Hero is showing us that even after a decade and a half, we don't know anything, man. Like, we know how to play the game if we make the assumption that the opponent also knows how to play the game. But Hero, at the very least over the last year or two, has been showing us that if both players know how to play the game, then one of them can basically choose to not play the normal game and get away with ridiculous strategies. So where are we arriving now? Well, this is every Diamond League player's wet dream. That's what we're looking at right here. 8 minutes in, Skytle's well underway. We have a mineral dump coming up with Mass Zealot. There's a bunch of Diamond League players watching this right now salivating. Now, the problem is that this build right here that Hero is going for probably works better here at this level than it would in Diamond League. Because the odds of a Diamond League Zerg player going for a 12 pool are way bigger than Solar going for one. So it's this weird agreement where these guys have decided this is how we play the game. And I think Hero's gotten away with it perfectly. Yeah, we're gonna follow this up as well with Psionic Storm. Mama is already waiting to jump in if things need cloaking. There's no Overseer nearby. Yeah, there's nothing you can really do right here as Solar. We should probably cloak. I guess he doesn't really need to rush it. There are some units that have slipped through the cracks because I think he went a little bit too liberal on the all-army hotkey. No surprise there. 4th Nexus. He just threw it out there. Bam. Just put it down. Just build it. We don't even know if the Zerg has gone home. Just build it. Okay. Well, Solar has to entirely switch course now. Cloak. Cloak, 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 cloak. Oh, actually, there's an Overseer. No cancel. 400 minerals down the drain. Time Warp, though. Now Cloak gets activated. Solar has had enough. He just rips off the Band-Aid. He's gone. GG. The best part with that final push there for Solar is that that was the best case scenario. Like, he sent in the Hydras, killed the Nexus, killed it before Protoss could cancel, 400 minerals down the drain, and then he leaves? Alright, now we find ourselves on a Ruby Rock, game number 3 in this best of 7. Immediately a probe gets sent out, but you know what? We have a suspiciously normal pylon right over here, and this looks like a hatchery block. Yep. Drone is gonna go down to the low ground. And this is what Solar wants. Like, Solar wants to be bullied a little. We tried to not judge, but Zerg players are weird like that. He's like, okay, I'll just go and take the 3rd hatchery then. Fair enough. But he's happy with this bullying, because it likely means that Protoss is doing a standard early game. Yep, hedge gas pool here in the end for solar. Probe is just being a little bit of a nuisance, trying to mess some of the mining up. There we go. A little bit of bullying. Zerg players are a bit sadistic like that. They enjoy this sort of thing, man. They like getting hurt. More so than your average StarCraft players. I guess StarCraft 2 players in general enjoy getting hurt every once in a while. Okay. In the meantime, looks like we've got ourselves a normal timing on the Cyber Core and the Nexus. Huh. Does that mean we're just gonna go for the Stargate as soon as this Cyber Core is done? I do think, though, that Solar is an absolute monster in the straight-up games, right? And it's a really good plan for Hero in general to just keep throwing curveballs. That previous game was like, that was a curveball that somehow turned into like a, what do you call these things? These things that return? No, not a frisbee. Boomerang. That wasn't a curveball. That was a boomerang. That previous game was weird. I don't think we can really recreate it. But I do believe that those types of games are really strong against somebody like Solar. Solar is a beast when it comes to playing standard StarCraft. Not that Hero is weak in that regard, but all of this is all very normal. So, okay, when I say normal, right, what does it even mean? The normal thing for Protoss to do is a low ground wall off like this, Cyber Core and Nexus at 20 supply, transition into a Stargate with your first 150 gas, go for the Warp Gate research afterwards, and then usually 2 to 3 Oracles. You get a third Nexus going at about 345 to 350. You use at least 2 of your gateway units to get that job done. And then you set up another gateway for the wall off over here. That's like the first 5 minutes for Protoss in a nutshell. Now, there's a lot of variety. Hero decides to go for the second gateway right now. That's going to delay the third Nexus ever so slightly. But it's okay because he has seen that the opponent is making additional links and it's fine. But this is all very normal. Triple Adept, okay. 2 Adepts over at the third, okay. We should see a probe. Yep, move down to the third base. This is all super standard. So that's the thing that always is surprising with Hero. Like, this man has very normal StarCraft in him. Like, it's all very sharp. He can play quintessential standard games. We need a pylon here. Wedge the 2 Adepts in between. Like, he knows how to do it, right? Like, this is textbook. Obviously, he knows how to do it. But this is like an entirely different personality all of a sudden. What happened to the previous game? Like, this is a different player. Second Oracle is here. Twilight Council on the back of this. I'm assuming we're gonna go into Blink. Alternative choice, though, is Charge. Both are fine. Okay. Now, this is not a great early game for Solar, but it's also far from the worst. Solar is very fond of Overlord drops. He does go for Queen Marches too. Lair starts up right now. I wonder if he is going to go for something like that, because this may be his only chance in the series. Ruby Rock is actually a pretty darn good map for such things too. Blink it is. Forge on the back of this. Stalker Warpins can begin. Yeah. So this is all super normal. Can somebody go check at Hero's place if he's got like a little brother that looks suspiciously similar to him? But smells a little bit more like cheese? Okay, that was mean, but seriously, like, it's an entirely different player all of a sudden. What's happening here? We have a normal wall off, everything's super standard. There's like Cheeto dust everywhere. Like that disgusting yellowy cheese sauce on his shirt. Like, it's there. It's got a mouse that's fully gunked up. Dude, I had a friend in high school that had a mouse that was so freaking gross. Ugh. Ugh. I can't get the images out of my head. We used to have LAN parties, and he would bring this disgusting mouse to these LAN parties. Oh, not a good time. Not a good time. Okay, now I'm thinking about the mouse. Not good. Zerglings. Trying our best. Get a little bit of value in. Oop. Can we warp in a couple units? There's even a... By the way, there's an adept on hold position. Did you see that? This is crazy talk. Stalkers, in the meantime, do get the damage done on the other side of the map. Like, he can do it. This is straight after the most hero game that I have ever seen. Like, that previous map was insanity. This is all so normal now. I wonder really how Hero decides what he wants to go for in a series. It's so interesting. There's never really been a StarCraft 2 player like this. Like, you can always kind of put StarCraft 2 players in boxes. Maybe we shouldn't be thinking like that, but seriously, like, most of the time, if you think of Clem, if you think of Cyril, if you think of Raynor, like, you have a certain vibe in mind as a player. But Hero is all of the vibes. All right, Templar Archives, enough fanboying. Lurker Den as well on the back of this. We now have a Hive coming up right here for Solar. Solar decided to play a very passive game now. That also means that he's going to be playing a macro game. And Skytos is very likely on the horizon yet again. Storm is likely going to be coming up. There will be a big opportunity, though, for Solar when the upgrades are done on the Lurkers. That is what Hero is trying to delay right now with this Stalker push. Little Zealot run by too. Actually, not that little. Pretty significant Zealot run by, if I may be so frank. That also opens up the door for the Stalkers to continue harassing up north. Getting the Lurker Den is big. Oh, that's so annoying here for Solar. The Stalkers are being pushed away, but the Zealots inside of the main base get the job done. Gigantic stasis ward over here as well for the drones. The spawning pool? The spawning pool? Okay. Solar has a Hive, but he's been knocked back to the Stone Age. Oh, this is a disaster for the Zerg. In the meantime, the Zealots have joined up with the Stalkers up north. We have a fleet beacon on the back of this together with a second Stargate. What are we gonna go for here? Like, what is the plan now, Solar? He starts up another Lurker Den, but he has been delayed by like 2 minutes. And 2 minutes is a really long time. At least that's what she said. All right. Immortal production. Archon production. Now we're playing a bit of a middle-of-the-road type of approach, though. Yeah, now we're playing both Sky Tools as well as Ground Tools at the same time. Lurkers coming up for Solar. Did we actually finish the Stargates? We did. I don't know if I've ever seen Hero cancel structures. Hero is not somebody to second guess himself, okay? You gotta be confident in your moves. Nah, he did not cancel the Stargates, even though I think he probably should have. Because he doesn't have the money to support all of this. Like, going for the Mama ship, and the Templar Archives, and the Archons, and the Robo... Like, it's too much. He's expending as well on the back of it. 66 probes only, by the way. So that does mean we're wasting a little bit of money. We're wasting at least a little bit of, potential production here. The 68 workers, though, do kind of, I don't really love that too much. If Hero was sitting on a bit more than that, this game would have already been in the bag. Right now, it's giving Solar an out. Man, did he just move his entire army back for 3 links? Okay. Any second right now is important for Solar, because these upgrades for the Lurkers are so powerful. He's already got Seismic Spines done. That's the range research. Lurker, I think, yeah, Hero must have... He probably saw the cocoon. There are some Lurkers up north. This is good. Very nice for Solar. Now we're going to get some Lurkers as well over here on the left side of the map, which is also really good. Oh, Hero anticipating it, though. He wants to go for the third base now. Likely that one is exposed. He doesn't really know exactly where the army is located. Looks like the Lurkers, though, up north are still putting in the work. Revelation is nice, but this is an army that just can't really reliably beat it. Oh, here goes Mama. We have a recall. The army from the north is being brought down south. Not enough Lurkers present over here. Those units need to uproot and get down. Yeah, they are indeed trying to reposition themselves right now. Okay, Hero may have just found a pretty cool opportunity. That was a recall for the fans. Oh, stalkers blink in. They're actually spread out pretty nicely, so that means the lurkers. Yeah, that means the lurkers will die. Hero. He, you know, played a very normal game in the end, but he did have to add a little bit of spice in the last few minutes. Okay, next up, we find ourselves on the Potato Citadel. Yet again, Hero has decided to go for another wall. Sure. You know, for a long time, people were criticizing his walls. So now we are also throwing walls out of the window. It's curious play, isn't it? Pylon over here. Gateway right next to it. And then a cyber core in that location over here. This used to be how Protoss players would open up. 2011? 2012 or so? Since then, low ground wall-offs. Oh! Guys, take a screenshot. Hero just built the pylon in the designated pylon spot that the creator of the Potato Citadel has put here. This is the location where you can perfectly wall off. Wow. I knew today was special, but I didn't realize it was this special. That's crazy. Unbelievable stuff. Stargate right next to this cyber core, though. So, dude, this is so silly. Why are we building all of this over here? I kind of feel for Solar in this game. Because that previous match was actually going really well. That previous map was going really well for him. Until suddenly 20 zealots marched through the natural into the main base. Killed the lurker then. And then disappeared like nothing happened. Like, that game was going perfectly fine. Void Ray first. Alright. Sure. Void Ray first. Something I would criticize most of the time, but I believe this is when Gen Alpha tells me to just let him cook. Or actually, is that a Gen Z thing? It might just be. You know, I learned that Bella, our daughter, is apparently Generation Beta. Like, she's a beta. I don't know how I feel about that. No. She seems to be fine. I told her. I let her know. She didn't really seem to care. Yeah, it is what it is. Oracle on the back of this. Generation Sigma is still like 60 years away, man. I think I'm gonna be dead. Maybe not, I don't know. But it's probably gonna be too late. Maybe not for me, but Loran might be. Anyways, let's see. Overlord ends up getting sniped here. And I guess we're gonna go home and go after Otto. Yeah, Otto you can hide. You can try at the very least, but you have like one hiding spot. He's not very good at hide and seek. Yeah, no. The wall off here will eventually be done. Kind of messy. Say goodbye to Otto. Oh, we're not even gonna prismatically align our beams for this one. He deserved better. Oh well, at least he can serve as meat for the guys over here dancing next to the campfire. Solar's gone for a lair. It's about halfway done here. A Roach Warren also finishing up already. This is fine though for Solar, right? Like losing Otto sucks, losing the other Overlord also kind of annoying. But it's not the end of the world, and Solar agrees. He goes for a lair together with Nomatized Carapace. This is indicative of him getting ready for a queen drop. Now, all other Zerg players out there at the highest level kind of hate the queen drops. Solar consistently plays it. Recall over here is good for Solar. Yeah. Solar does this build all the time. I'm assuming we're going to be loading up Overlord, so that we really have to start the Roach production. Yeah, so we can go Roach Ravager Ling, and then load the queens into a private jet and send them across the map. This map especially, the Potato Citadel, or Potato Citadel, sorry. It is a perfect location to drop queens off. There we go. This is Brenda's private jet. Brenda, you got tagged. Takes 15 seconds. There we go. Sneaky, sneaky. Oh. Not very sneaky in the end. This is just like Otto's hiding location. I guess when there's smoke, there's fire. Hero was wondering why 4 of those queens were separating themselves from the rest. Well, the Zealot force in the previous game was nice. Ooh, now we're gonna make the beam thick. Overlord is going to get sniped. Private jet down. Void Ray will continue. The ladies will march instead. Already, though, we have some Zerglings, apparently, that made their way to the natural expansion in another Dropper Lord. Couple of photon cannons coming up. 1 shield battery available. We do have 2 sentries as well. Ravagers, though, are being morphed in, and the Zergling drops are going to commence as well inside of the main base. 4 probes have died so far. Void Ray ends up going down as well. Oracles are being targeted. There's enough creep available for those queens to also transfuse one another. That's an Immortal now, pretty much surrounded, and this is a nice attack right here for Solar. Yep, Immortal not living up to its name. And this right here is a bit of a disaster for Hero. Solar is, the only player really at this level that likes to go for this build. I don't really think a lot of the other Zergs are fond of it. We never really see, like, for example, Cyril go for this attack. I don't remember the last time I've seen it. Maybe he has played it, but I don't recall. Anyhow, this is so many probes dying that I don't think there's a way out of this game anymore for Hero. He's going to lose the 3rd Nexus, and Solar is going to continue pushing. He is droning behind it, so even though he's smelling blood, the perfect pylon, it is not going to finish up an Immortal. The Warpin did get cancelled. That means that Solar evens up the score. Whoa, calm down. Alrighty, next up, White Rabbit. The Matrix-themed map. Also a pretty stellar map in general. I'm actually curious, White Rabbit, Liquipedia. I don't know if I've ever looked at the stats of this. White Rabbit Gaming? Oh, no. The Rocket League wiki? No, I mean the StarCraft 2 map. Oh, wow. This map, we don't really see it very often for Protoss versus Zerg. And the reason for that is that apparently it has a win rate for Zerg of 43%. That is really bad. Protoss apparently winning the vast majority of the pro games on this map so far. And obviously this is a best of 7, so the players don't get a ton of vetoes. But in a best of 3, in a best of 5, this map must pretty much always be vetoed by the Zergs. Okay. 7% is actually pretty bad. 7% is quite lopsided. Curious to see how Hero is going to use that to his advantage. For now, though, we have a very normal start. I'm actually not entirely sure why this map would be so hard for Zerg players against Protoss specifically. I guess it's the forward base that's kind of tough. This is one of the questions you have to ask pro gamers. They have very strong opinions on maps specifically. Considering, though, that Hero is going for a normal start, maybe that's how he decides what he does. You know what? Maybe he decides to go for the crazy builds on the maps where he is not favored. And on the maps where everything is actually pretty dang good for Protoss, that's when he decides to play the normal styles. I wonder. Because it's becoming more and more extreme, you know? Like, we have been seeing... Like, it's getting out of hand. It really does feel like we have 2 different Protoss players playing, well, Hero. It feels like it's an entirely different playstyle. This 3rd Nexus is super far away, not really something that Solar can do anything about. Yeah, and I guess if you want to be... Like, if you're Solar, right? So Solar wins a lot of games off of those queen attacks that he went for in the previous game. Ooh, decides to cancel the Evo Chamber. You can't really easily get to this location over here. Like, this is too one-dimensional. You would pretty much always have to push in this direction. But then the 3rd base is really quite far away. Yeah. I don't know. Oracle swoop in. 3 workers, not bad. +1 armor. Alright. +1 armor and a Twilight Council. What are we doing here, Hero? Glaives? Has to be Glaives, right? It's the only thing that makes sense. With Zealots and with Stalkers, the +1 attack is just better. I never really liked +1 armor first very much, though. Overlord speed again for Solar. Oracle swoop in. It's not really possible for Hero to know whether or not this research is coming up. You can technically see whether or not the hatchery is producing something, but it may as well be a queen. Overlord speed is not really a guarantee when you see a hatchery producing something at this point in time. Man, that's a lot of commitment here to getting the drones not stasised. I don't know if I like the idea, though, of Solar going for a Dropper Lord. Okay, 2 Dropper Lords with 9 drones down the drain. That is a lot of workers that have died so far. And it means that Solar is fully all in with this push that is coming in very soon. Hero is making a ton of adepts. And this is one of those weird instances where I think Solar is pushing to his death. Like, he decides to go for a very committed push. Hero likewise goes for a very committed push. But this is like StarCraft 2 rock, paper, scissors. Hero is rock, Solar is scissors. What are you gonna do? How in the world are you gonna hold this? Eco-wise, that's the weird thing, right? Normally you go for this adept push, and you try to get the eco advantage. He's already got the eco advantage. He doesn't really need to do anything. Yeah. It is a little bit awkward, I guess, for Protoss in the sense that you don't really know the exact worker count here of the Zerg. But he knows that he's got 3 bases fully saturated, and he's already had a little peek over at his opponent's mineral line. He knows that the gases over there are not taken. He's seen the amount of workers that Zerg has, and usually it's like 60 or so at most. He knows he's killed a sufficient amount as well with the oracles. So I think Hero can put 1-on-1 together at this spot and realize, okay, this is indeed an eco lead for me. So no need to be too aggressive. No need to be pushy. What game is that again? No need to be pushy. I don't remember. All right, Blink coming up. +1/+1, researching inside of the main base too. There's a few options right now for Zerg. Either he's going to commit to making more and more economy. Or he's going to commit... Is it Gaslow in Heroes of the Storm? No need to be pushy. You want to blow something up? No, I think it's the Goblin Sapper in Warcraft 3. All right, I don't know. He knows that it's likely going to be an all-in from the Zerg, or that it's going to be a big eco transition. Now, in this particular instance, Solar comes swooping in. Stalkers trying their absolute best. Oh, the Stasis Ward here actually blocking the Stalkers here out of the natural out. Some nice corrosive biles. Here's the Adepts coming home, though. I think this is more than enough for Hero. Despite the fact that this is a very clumsy fight for him and very messy, it is just not enough Zerg. Like, these Zerg units don't trade efficiently, and Hero already has the eco advantage. Yeah, so despite the fact that this fight is really quite good for Solar, this looks like one of those instances where StarCraft 2 is a numbers game. 13 probes do die, because some links did slip through the cracks. They went inside of their little jet. Okay, you know what? 16 probes dying is actually substantial. That may justify this situation here for Solar, but now Hero is on the counter-offensive. He doesn't have a Warp Prism out. He's going Colossus instead. With extended thermal lens? Really? Okay, I think we should probably make a Prism and go into the other side of the map, but he doesn't really want to take the chances. He knows that Roach production is going to kick in right now. And this suddenly, because of that Zergling drop, has been flipped upside down. Those Adepts from earlier, they're gonna lose value over time. So any value you can get right here is good. Looks like the Immortals and the Stalkers are winning the main fight over here out front. And now the drones are, well, not in very large numbers, but they are dying. Stalkers do blink in. Adepts in the meantime going on around the site. Looks like the Roaches and the Ravager and the Natural are not quite getting the job done. A single Colossus without the ranged upgrade shows up. He goes for another Colossus again before Prism. Brenda ends up getting sniped. Adepts still going to town. Now they shade into the Natural. Solar's economy has really taken a nosedive, and he knows that he cannot continue fighting it. So GG gets called. That means that we are going to match point for Hero. This build from Hero really is blowing my mind. We are on 10,000 feet, by the way. But it's a pylon right next to the gas geyser, and then a blind nexus on the low ground. 18 supply cybernetics core. Second gas. This is so ridiculously greedy. We have no wall off. There is nothing Zerg can... Or sorry, that Protoss can really do if Zerg decides to be aggressive. But what are the odds of Solar ever going for any form of aggression at all? And I guess that's another thing, right? With this very lopsided style that Hero likes to go for, this like... yeah, this strategy that he just constantly whips out in games of SC2, Hero is not afraid to mix it up, and because of that, a lot of people are afraid to cheese him. Because if you end up going for some sort of aggressive push and he happens to be playing normal, you're in a world of trouble. If he's playing something very greedy and you're not going for some sort of aggression, you're also in a world of trouble. So at this point in the game, Solar is already behind because Hero is super greedy and he's gotten away with a whole lot. Like, this is entirely scoutless. He has no idea what's out on the map. Pylon over here, it means that there's no probe moving down to the low ground too early to, like, you know, lose any potential mining time. Gets the Nexus down blindly. Doesn't go for a Zealot or anything along those lines. And then it's a Stalker first. Like, imagine literally any type of early game aggression from Solar. But that ship has already sailed. Solar cannot go for any sort of aggression right now and reliably get into the base unless Hero messes up his wall or something. I guess that's something that, you know, we have seen once or twice before. But yeah, I do feel like playing against Hero has to be one of the hardest tasks in StarCraft. If you're playing a bracket, right, a StarCraft 2 tournament, there's a few opponents you always want to dodge. Like, nobody's happy playing against Clem. Nobody really wants to be facing off against Serral. Nobody would be too pleased going up against, like, say, a Max Specs or a Classic or whatever, right? But at least you know what you're going to expect. With Hero, the sky really is the limit. So this Nexus now, to really put it in perspective, is like a good 15 seconds earlier than your normal Nexus. Now, he is doing this off of no Stargate opener. It's straight glaive adepts. Solar did not quite see it. Wait a second, he had an Overlord moving in the direction, but he did not see the Twilight. Okay. Straight glaive adepts. This is going to be super early, by the way, on the Adepts upgrade. So, no, like in the previous games, we've seen it after a Stargate opener. This is straight Twilight Council. That, of course, does mean that these Adepts are needing to stay alive. Yeah, I don't know what's going on with Otto. Otto is going to commit. Otto is going to commit eventually. There we go. It's important to see this sort of thing. It's a pretty slow upgrade. He now also sees about 1 million Adepts being warped in. So that's pretty easy to piece together. Roach production has begun because of it. Interestingly enough, though, Hero, because of this super greedy early game, is economically ahead before he goes for this push. Normally, when Protoss goes for an Adept push like this, they are behind and they need to kill workers on the other side of the map just to be even. Right now, Hero, look at this. We have 47 workers for Protoss versus 37 for Zerg. Huh. He may be onto something here, honestly. Like, this is a weird spot to be in, but it's really good for Protoss. Like, Solar's making non-stop army to try and counter this. I guess the issue with not having a Stargate out is that, like, the counterattack from Zerg is actually a possibility. He cancels the shade and recalls. Okay. You need to have Blink done by the time that the Zerg army arrives. But did Solar actually make enough units to go for a counterattack? Look at the overview of the game right now. 37 workers for Zerg, 56 probes for Protoss. An army that can actually go toe-to-toe right here with the army of the Zerg, and then a follow-up that's Blink together with Immortal production. Solar doesn't even have a lair. And all of this after basically nothing really has happened. Okay, I don't know about this commitment. But I mean, he does have glaives. Yeah, the glaives does make life a little bit more manageable. And all of this is because Hero went for that first pylon right next to the mineral line, right? He went for that blind nexus at 18 supply on the low ground. Because he cut the worker scout, because he did not go for any of the normal things in the early game, he's able to pull builds off like this. That on paper look very questionable. And I feel like if you take them and copy them into your own ladder games, you're likely to fall behind. But if you know your opponent is likely to play a normal hatch gas pool build, you're going to be in a great spot. Well, here we go. Solar has one chance. He needs to get damage done with this push because he has 26 workers to go home to. I think it's a disaster. The Immortals are here. The Blink is finishing up. We even have +1 attack fired up for Hero, who knows he does not need it. He just needs to survive. Photon Cannon available too. 1 Immortal though, not quite living up to its name. We do have to warp in some units, Hero. He's got 6 gateways, but he's not really using them. He's got way too much money in the bank. Blink Stalkers though are joining in. A couple of Zealots are also going to be added into the mix. Now there is no charge available, but it does not really matter. What's really cool about this build, so we've now seen Hero do it twice in this series. He opens up, by the way, he ends up here with a 4-2 victory over Solar. But what's really cool about this build is that it doesn't even really seem super refined. Right? Like, there is room for improvement with this particular strategy. At least the tail end of the execution here was not very strong. Like, as he GG's out, he's got, you know, like 1,100 resources in the bank. More than that. So that's a lot of money. Solar is barely able to get any minerals, and Hero ends the best of 7 with that many resources available to him. So, pretty cool to see. He must have missed a little warp in here, so maybe there was potential for like an extra 6 Stalkers. I think with 6 more Stalkers earlier on, that Zerka tech would have done absolutely nothing. Anyways, brilliant series of StarCraft 2. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please take the 1 second that it takes to hit the like button down below. That would be awesome. But yeah, Hero. It's hard to not be a fan of the man. GG.